Okay, now I taught you how to multiply the fractions with all the algebra expressions. Now the next thing we're going to do is add, but before we do this, we got to do something kind of easy so that when you get to it, it's not so overwhelming. Add these fractions. Now you're not actually going to add them though, okay? I don't even need you to find the answer. I want you to add them. To add fractions, you can't just extend the line. That's a multiplication thing. Here's what I want you to do first. I have a 2. I have 5. Look at your denominator, because you remember to add fractions, the denominators have to be the same. I have 3. I already wrote 3 down. I already wrote 3 down. I already wrote 5 down. Now 2. How many 2's are on the bottom here? 1. How many 2's are on the bottom here? 0. What you need to do is make it so that they both have 1, 2. So you times 2 times the top by 2. Now they both have 2. How many 5's we got? 2. How many 5's we got? 1. So we need to make it so they both have 2 5's. So I come here, and then you got to times the top by 5. 3. I have 1 and 2. So 2. We need to make this first one so it has 2 3's. Okay, then the bottoms all have the same amount of factors. Okay, that's all you do. Okay, next one. 5, 11, and 2 from here. 11, 5's, I got 1 and 2. So I need to put times 5 times 5. Now they both have 2. 11, I got 1 and 1. I'm good there. They both have an equal number of 11 factors. 2, I've got none and 1. So I need to make it so they have 1. Both have 1. Well, that one already has 1. That's where I need to do the fix. Okay, next one. I've got 3 and 2 and 13. I've got 3. I have 3 and 0. So I need to make it so that this has 3 3's. And you can put 3 to the third power if you want. For 2's, I got 1 and 1. We're good there. For 13's, I got 0 and 1. So I need to make it so they both have 113. Okay. All right. 2, 3, 11. 2 and 1, so times 2 times 2, because now they both have 2. For 3, I have 1 and 0, so they both need 1, so times 3, but then you got to times the numerator by 3. 11, I got 0 and 1, so I times 11 times 11. 2 and 3. 2 2's, 0 2's. I need to make it so they have 2, so times 2 times 2. 3, I got 1 and 1. Good to go. 16, I've got 2 and 7. And then 13. So 2, I've got 2 and 1. Make it so they both have 2. So times 2 times 2. 7, I got 1 and 0. We need to make it so they both have 1 7. That already has a 1 7. Times 7, but when I bring a factor in, the top has to have it too. 13's, I got 0 and 1, so 1 is the 1. Okay, and good to go. I've got 3, I've got 2, and I've got 5, so I have 2 3's and 0. They need to have both 2. 2, I got 1 and 1, we're good. 5, 0, and 1. They both have to have 1. So times 5 times 5. Okay, I've got 2's, I've got 3's, and 5's. So 2, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here, and only 1 here. So I need to make it so they both have 5's. So it's already got 1, so times 2 times 2 times 2 times 2. You can also put 2 to the 4th power. 3's, I've got 1, 2. I've got 1. So they both need to have 2. So times 3. And some of you are like, can I take them away? No, you can't take them away. Okay, that's not going to work. 5s, you have 0 and 1. So we better make sure that first one has a 5. And there we go. Okay, now identify the least common denominator on these. Here's what you do. First off, write your parentheses down on the bottom. You have an x minus 2, okay? Because parentheses factors with x are totally different than x's that are not in parentheses. And then what are big numbers you have on the bottom, not in the parentheses? Well, I've got 24 and I've got 8. Okay, now what do do we have x outside parentheses? Yes, we do. So you just put x. Don't put x second in x, just put x. Okay? X minus 2's, I have 0 and I have 1. Okay? So the one with 0 needs a parentheses x minus 2. And this is going to look pretty sloppy as you're doing it. That's okay. I don't care. Okay, 24, I got 1 and 0. So I need to make them so they both have 124. So times 24 times 24. 8, I have 0 and 1. So I need that first one to have 1, 8. So times 8 times 8. Now, x's, okay? X to the second means that that one has 2, and then just x here means that one has 1. That doesn't count. That's in a parentheses. So we need to make it so they both have 2, okay? So I put times x and times x. That's all I need. Okay, next one. I've got an x minus 2 as a parentheses. I have a big 3. It's all about the bottom 2. Now I have x's outside, okay? X minus 2, I have 0 and 1. So x minus 2, x minus 2. Okay, for 3's, I have 1 and 0. So times 3 times 3. Outside x's, I have 1 and 1. So I'm good there, okay? That should be in a parentheses. Sorry about that. So parentheses factors, I have x minus 2 and I have x minus 5. I got 1 and 1. We're good. X minus 5's, I have 0 and 1. So the one with 0, I need to make it so they both have 1. Okay, next one. Do you have any parentheses factors? You don't. So what are your big number factors on bottom? You got a 10 and a 5. Outside x's, yeah, right here. So it's all about the bottom. On bottom I have a 10, so 1 and 0. So I need to make this so it has a 10 to match. 5's, I have 0 and 1. So I need to put a 5 there so it matches. Then outside x's, I have 1 and 0. That doesn't count. It's on top. Okay? So the one with 0, I need to bring an x in. Now the bottoms have exactly the same thing. It's all about the bottom, people. Okay, next one. Parenthesize, parenthesize. So parentheses factors. I have an x minus 3. And a 2x plus 3, there's no big numbers outside. There are no x's outside. So I have 1 and 0, so I need to put x minus 3, x minus 3. Then 2x plus 3, I have 0 and 1, so I need to go 2x plus 3 and 2x plus 3. Okay, I've got x plus 3. And then big numbers outside, I have 2. And do I have x's outside? Yes, I do. So x plus 3, I have 0 and 1. So x plus 3, x plus 3. For 2's, I have 1 and 1, so that's good. For outside x's, I have 1 and none. That doesn't count. That's in a parentheses. So 1 and 0. Put outside. So the one with 0, the second one, I need 2 plus x times x. Okay, I have a parentheses factor of x minus 4. I've got a big 3 outside. I got a big 6 outside. And outside x's, I do have some. Okay, here. X minus 4, 0 and 1. So times x minus 4 times x minus 4. 3's, I got 1 and 0. Okay, so times 3 times 3. 6's, I have 0 and 1. So I need times 6 times 6. Again, it looks pretty sloppy. Outside x's, I have 2 here because it's to the second power. I don't have any here. Okay, that doesn't count. That's in a parentheses. So this one needs to have 2 x's multiplied. You could also put times x to the second too. X plus 2. Big outside numbers, I have 3. Outside x's, I have them. So outside x. So x plus 2, I have 0 and 1. So times x plus 2. X plus 2. 3, I have 1 and 1. That's good. Outside x's, I have here and here, 1 and 1. That's good. Okay. Then the last one, I have parentheses factors, 2x plus 5, 2x minus 5. I already got 2x plus 5, and then x minus 3. So 2x plus 5, I'm 1 to 1. I'm good. 2x minus 5, I'm 1 and 0. So I need to bring in a 2x minus 5 and also bring it into the top. X minus 3, I go 0 and 1. So I'm going to bring in my x minus 3. And now we're good. The denominators match. Okay? That seems kind of like a silly assignment, but it will help you.